We will now begin with our post-race media availability for today's 16th annual The Drive for Safety 300 here at Chicagoland Speedway. And we're joined by today's runner-up finisher, Kyle Larson, driver of the number 42 ENEOS Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing. Kyle, that was quite the battle at the end. Could you walk us through those final few laps?
Yeah, it was good. We were too tight to start every run, and I would kind of fall back a little bit or maintain. And then I could get going up top a little bit sooner than everybody else. Pass a couple cars, a couple guys that didn't want to run the top. But whenever I'd catch Erik or Kyle, they'd just move up in front of me, and was hard to pass once we'd get going up there. So same thing when I caught the 20 there at the end. I knew he'd been running the bottom, and I knew he was gonna move up to the top, take my line away. And I went down to the bottom of 3 and 4, and actually almost got to his inside there, and he was just able to clear me. And then yeah, the last lap there, I tried to get to the throttle early to try and get a run on him on exit, and knew I'd be flirting with the edge there, and just got over it and got into the wall and ended our shot there. But all in all, it was a good finish for us. We had a lot of issues throughout the race. I sped on pit road. I think we had a couple right rear tires going down, so I got tied a couple runs. So yeah, it was a lot to overcome, and to finish second was okay.
Okay, we're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question for Kyle, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start there with Tom.
Hey, Kyle. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. You've been posting top 5 finishes pretty much everything you've run lately and finishing strong. What do you attribute that to?
Good race cars, especially on the Cup side. Our race cars over there have gotten better. Our Xfinity car has been good now for about a year, and so we've been solid. I feel like we should run top 5 every time we get an Xfinity car. Obviously the Cup Series is a little tougher, but we've had some momentum, and all around that's good. So yeah, it's been fun. It's always fun to come to the racetrack. Being fast as soon as you unload, and knowing you have a shot at at least run up front every weekend, maybe getting a win.
Additional questions for Kyle? We'll come here to Tim.
Kyle, the last lap move, was that kind of the bonsai move after the previous 2 laps? You almost got him but didn't?
I mean, it wasn't really a bonsai move. It was just what I thought would be my last shot at getting a run on him was just getting to the throttle a little bit earlier. With him in front of me, it was making me a little tight, and I couldn't get to wide open as early as when I was up there by myself. So I knew I needed to get to the wide open sooner than he did to get that little bit of a run and maybe dive bomb him into 3. But like I said, I knew it probably wasn't going to work, but I had to try something, and I just got in the wall there and lost my run.
Additional questions for Kyle? Well, Kyle, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Appreciate it. We're going to continue on with today's post-race media availability for the 16th annual The Drive for Safety 300 here at Chicagoland Speedway. And we're joined by crew chief of the number 20 Hisense Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, Chris Gabehart. And we have Steve deSouza, Executive Vice President, NASCAR XFINITY Series and Development for Joe Gibbs Racing. Chris, let's start. The 18 had the dominant car today, but you were able to take advantage with the speed in that 20 and that driver behind the wheel. What was that opportunity like when you saw that happen at the end of the race?
Yeah, it's been the same with Kyle for a lot this year. He's able to get out front and attack early on, and a lot of times it'll take us a little bit of time to get going, or me making adjustments, Erik getting comfortable. But we all know with Kyle, you got to play a perfect game to beat him, especially in the Xfinity Series. And once he had, I honestly feel like we had a better car than him there at the end. Just getting around him was going to be tough, and he had some misfortune. And at that point, we had to rip off a good pit stop, and the guys did, and get the Hisense Toyota Camry out front and get the best tires. And I was really impressed with how well Sadler hung on, and then we got around him, and then it was just a matter of blocking the other Kyle, who's so great at these places. And luckily, Erik was able to hold on.
Steve, it's no mistake that Erik Jones is going to enter this NASCAR XFINITY Series Chase as the top seed, and once again he proved today why he's going to be in that position. Can you talk about his development through the organization here in the NASCAR XFINITY Series?
Well, I agree. If you look back at his history in the late models and then more recently in the truck series, he's just had a phenomenal career and a phenomenal talent. And I think with Chris Gabehart, who they've had a relationship, Chris has been an incredible motivator for him and kind of keeps him on task. And it was not easy today. They had to work really, really hard, and Chris motivated him, kept him focused, and Erik got after it. And so it's really fun to watch him, and I think they're starting to peak at the right time. Obviously, going into the chase, I'm excited for he and the whole team over there and everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing, how much effort that's been put into it, and all the teams over in the Xfinity. They're working so hard together, and it's fun just sit back and watch it all happen.
Good deal. We're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Bob in the middle.
Bob Hockris, ESPN. Chris, how do you keep Erik from beating Erik, or losing, the chase?
That's one of the cool parts about such a young guy, right? I mean, I'm going to say some pretty impressive names here, but we all know Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch tore up a lot of stuff in their younger years. So while Erik hasn't done that, I think he takes great care of his equipment. What he doesn't know, he doesn't know. So keeping him right under that line while still being able to pound the fence like Kyle Larson and not beat himself, which he didn't do today. We've seen Kyle Larson get in the fence a couple times. Is a testament to how good he is at such a young age, and well, I look forward to it. It's not going to be easy, but he's got a ton of talent. I got a great team behind us, so looking forward to it.
Additional questions for these gentlemen? Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today, and congratulations again on the win.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If we can have your attention here in the media center, we will now finish up today's media availability for the 16th annual The Drive for Safety 300 with today's race winner, and that is none other than Erik Jones, driver of the number 20 Hisense Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. This is Erik's 6th victory in 52 NASCAR XFINITY Series races. It's his 4th win and 16th top 10 finish in 2016. And he enters the inaugural NASCAR XFINITY Series Chase as the number 1 seed. Not too bad. How does that feel?
It's good. It's nice just to get a win in general, but especially the week before the chase. You want to get some momentum going anytime you're getting ready to do something like that. And we did a nice job of Richmond getting a 2nd place, and then grabbing a win here is pretty great for us. So we got a decent little points cushion here in the first round of the chase, and I think we got a good shot to grab a win, but we still need to make sure we're focused on points and pointing our way through if we aren't able to get a win. So it should be fun. I'm excited to get to Kentucky and hopefully challenge for another win.
Good deal. We'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here with Brian.
Erik, Brian Eberle, RubbinsRacing.com. At the Cup level, most drivers consider Talladega and Martinsville to be the wild cards. Obviously, you guys don't have those in the Xfinity Chase. What tracks do you consider to be the wild card races?
That's a good question. I was actually talking to somebody about that in Victory Lane. We don't have Talladega and Martinsville, so it's fairly smooth sailing. It's not easy by any means, but it takes those 2 really wild card races out, and those are 2 tracks that are definitely not good for me. So I think really all the tracks that we're going to go to are going to be really good for us. It's hard to pick one out maybe that would really be a wild card, but Kentucky, it's always, you never know with the repave. It's hard to say what can happen, so if anything, I think maybe Kentucky will be. Yeah, I would agree. I was going to say Phoenix actually to start, just because it's still a short track and there's still a lot of things that can happen, and I actually got caught up in a wreck last year at Phoenix chasing the truck championship, so there's a lot of things that can happen. I would say probably Phoenix or Kentucky.
We'll go to the right to Chris.
Chris, CatchFans.com. Congratulations on the win, Erik. Next weekend, the Xfinity Series opens at Kentucky Speedway. It's a standalone race, and it's for, I believe, the only standalone race of the season. How pivotal is it going to be to get that win, because you go back to Dover and going to be influxed with Cup guys?
It's going to be important. You want to obviously that's our best shot to get a win is at Kentucky, just because it's a standalone, and you don't have to race Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, all those guys. So, yeah, it's important. We'd love to get a win there and be comfortable for Dover and where's the other one at? Charlotte. Yeah, sorry. But, yeah, I definitely love to get a win at Kentucky and think it's our best shot.
We'll go to the left to Bob.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. I have 2 questions. First off, you won 4 races, so you're the top seed. Elliott Sadler had about a 59-point lead on everybody and even 94-point lead, I think, on you. So do you feel like the favorite, or is he the favorite?
Well, I think, honestly, if it wouldn't have been a chase format, I would have went about this year totally different. You know, I saw the chase format coming. I'm like, hey, I'm going to take full advantage of it. If we're going to go for wins every week, and that's exactly what we've done. It's exactly how I've drove all year, and there's no reason not to. You know, there's no penalty for wrecking or running out of a race. If you get a win and you're locked in, you know, hey, charge for a win every week, and that's what we've done. So, yeah, I think Elliott's been strong. He's gotten a lot better here over the last month or so. I think he's become a real competitor or has emerged as a competitor. So I think him and Justin as well will be pretty tough. They've gotten their stuff a lot better.
And how do you avoid beating yourself in this thing?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I tend to do that every once in a while along the way. So, you know, I think a lot of it is just settling in and finding your groove and just not trying to overdo it. You know, there's a lot of times where I think I'll try to get too much at the wrong time. I think we did a really good job today of not doing that. You know, when it was time to go, it was time to go. But when we were riding and taking what we could get and never really forced the issue all day. And if we can do that in every race in Chase, we'll be in good shape.
We'll stay in the middle to Tony and then come up front to Tim.
Hi, Eric. Tony Baranek, Chicago Tribune. How aware were you of how dominant Busch had been through that whole race? How surprised were you to have a chance to get up there, and then how did you react to it?
I was very aware. I could see him most of the day after we got up into about fourth or fifth, and then at the one point we had kind of run him down actually in the mid part of the run there before the green flag stop, and I thought we were better than him and thought we'd have a shot to beat him. But after that restart and he put tires on, I didn't think we'd run long enough really for his stuff to wear out enough to where we would be fast again. So I saw that he had a tire rub, and I don't know for sure, but I believe he cut a right rear tire down while he was leading there, and I knew after that we'd have a really good shot at it.
Tim Cronin, Joliet Herald News. Last 3 laps, Larson was giving you a handful. What did you see from him, and how'd you get away at the end?
Well, I didn't expect him to run us down that fast. You know, once we got the lead, I thought, man, this is smooth sailing from here. Be smooth for 8 laps, and we'll be good to go. And my spotter had let me know the 42 had passed Elliott and was running a couple tenths better than us each lap, and I figured that, well, I'll stay down on the bottom as long as I can. I didn't want to take the chance to get up top and run into the wall, so I just kept watching and kept trying to track when he was getting runs, and saw finally he was close enough to where I figured, okay, it's time to move up, and moved up going into 1 and knew that really if we didn't hit the wall, we'd be in pretty good shape. He's really good when you get up top, man. He just charges, and it shows. It shows on Saturdays, it shows on Sundays, and he can do it better than most.
We'll go to Dustin, then to Jerry, and then back over to Tony.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Eric, with this first chase, what are you most excited about, and what are you most leery about going into this?
I'm excited about the fact that it is the chase, and I'm excited about the opportunity to make it to Homestead and have a shot at the championship. But it's really almost the same thing I'm leery about. You know, you can't there's no way to give yourself a cushion to go into Homestead. There's no way like we did last year in the Truck Series. We had a 30-point lead or something going into Homestead, and we had to finish like 24th or better. So it's, you know, it's, hey, we go to Homestead, get our stuff decent, and ride around all day and take our finish, and we win. Whereas this year, that's not there. You know, you have to go to Homestead with the mentality that we're probably going to have to win the race, and that's not a bad thing. That's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Go to Jerry and then back to Tony.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. A lot of the guys out there said you've got the biggest target on your back because you're the favorite. Any pressure from that, and also what pressure do you have from the elimination format each of these rounds?
No pressure from that. You know, I think we've got really fast stuff, and you know that comes along with it, and everybody's gunning for you, and you know it's a good feeling, and it's a compliment to JGR, it's a compliment to our team, and other than that, you know, I think the biggest pressure is obviously advancing to the next round. Whether that, you know, comes upon me or not, I don't know. I've never done the chase format before, so we'll have to see as it goes. I haven't felt any pressure yet. You know, I feel good, but I figure if we come down to Charlotte and we're not moving on to the next round, we need a win. I'm sure we'll feel some pressure.
Tony?
Eric, the truck championship last year, top seed in Xfinity this year, full-time ride next year in Sprint Cup. That is quite a whirlwind for a young man. How do you view that?
Exciting, unbelievable at times, really. You know, it was only 3 years ago I made my first NASCAR start in a truck at Martinsville and got our first win that year, and it's just been a rapid rise. You know, I've been fortunate. I got hooked up with Kyle over there at Kyle Busch Motorsports, and he's been such a mentor and a supporter of me from the start. It's something I never would have dreamed of or never would have thought would have happened. I never thought I'd even have an opportunity and equipment like that in NASCAR. So just to really have that and advance through the ranks as fast as we have and be in such good equipment all along the way, it's a dream come true for me, and it's something I honestly didn't think I'd ever have the chance to do.
Any additional questions for our race winner? Erik, congratulations and good luck next week in Kentucky.
Thank you.